Hello, welcome to the morning edition of MBC News, and you are with me, Abale, Chilembwe. Coming up this morning, the Ministry of Finance optimistic of a more responsive 2026-2027 national budget following nationwide pre-budget consultation meetings. Malawi celebrates John Chilembwe Day today. And in sports, FDH Bank takes over sponsorship of the country's elite football league, the Super League. Thank you for joining us. Now the news in detail. The Ministry of Finance has wrapped up its nationwide pre-budget consultation meetings, with government expressing optimism that the views collected will help shape a more responsive 2026-2027 national budget. The consultations ended on Wednesday in Blantyre, following similar meetings in Lilongwe and Zuzu, where stakeholders shared perspectives on how best the national budget can address Malawi's economic challenges. Zachitika has filed this report.
Speaking at the close of the Blantyre meeting, Minister of Finance Joseph Mwanaveka said he was impressed with the quality of input received across all the three regions and assured stakeholders that the contributions will be taken on board. The Finance Minister said the discussions have sent a message of hope to Malawians despite the tough economic measures currently being implemented.
President Professor Mutharika is determined to address the challenge that we have. He knows exactly what to do. But for this to happen, for the economy to be restored, it requires support of each and every Malawian to support. The decision that we are making, that the President is making now, are not out of bad intentions or ill will. The intention is to make sure that this economy is restored, so that at the end of the day, every Malawian, whether it's in town, whether it's in the village, whether it's doing business, not doing business, he should be happy that now the economy is doing well. I'm pleased at this point, at this juncture, that the people seem to be happy because they have seen the maize prices are coming down. Some people are doubting that it will not happen. I want to assure them that it will happen.
The minister also issued a stern warning to some banks, individuals and money transfer operators over alleged involvement in illegal foreign exchange trading and money laundering.
Some players in the market are externalizing foreign exchange illegally. We are aware of individuals, we are aware of the business people, we are aware of banks, we are also aware of what we call money transfer operators, like Paisa, Mama Money and others that are transferring money illegally. So I want to warn them that shortly we'll catch them. Shortly, the long arm of the law will catch up with them, because as we speak now, the authorities are on the ground. The relevant institutions are on the ground to make sure that that should stop.
Meanwhile, Bankers Association of Malawi Chief Executive Officer Linus Nkungula says her association is looking forward to engaging the Ministry of Finance on the matter.
He will come to the banking sector just to talk, to have a bilateral dialogues with the bank. I should say that as banks, they cannot conduct themselves in this practice because they are highly regulated. But still, you can have one or two bad apples within the institutions. So we are happy that if they have the information, let them come out and deal with this matter right there and then.
The Minister of Finance says views collected during the pre-budget consultations will guide policy priorities for the 2026-2027 national budget, with a focus on economic stabilization, restoring confidence and improving the welfare of Malawians. Zachitika, MBC, Blantyre.
Meanwhile, Minister of Finance, Economic Planning and Decentralization Joseph Mwanaveka has reassured people in the country that foreign exchange reserves have shown notable improvement. The minister highlighted that the enhanced reserves are expected to ease pressure on foreign currency availability, leading to reduced queues in banks for foreign currencies.
As we speak now, we have seen inflows that are coming. We have done that by using different ways. There were some that had exported tea, soya, pigeon peas, even tobacco. the process have not come. So we have checked with the Malawi Revenue Authority. We have looked at the CDON forms that they signed. And we know who has exported, but the processes are not coming. So we are targeting those. We need the foreign exchange to come back. We need to make sure that comes back. We're also curtailing on the expenditures on foreign exchange, like travel. You have seen we have cut on travel, and that also we are cutting on foreign exchange. We have also cut on the importation of high-value items like vehicles. That also is affecting, actually in a good way, it's affecting our foreign exchange position. So I want to assure Malawians that this exchange rate that people are worried about, I think is going to improve. As we speak now, I'm told that the payroll rate now, it has moved from 4,500 to about 3.6, and I'm told it's continuing. And I'm also told that the Malawi kwacha against the metikash in Mozambique, and also against the kwacha in Zambia, and also the Kenyan shilling, I'm told it's now improving. Malawi currency is becoming stronger and stronger, and that will continue.
Malawi celebrates John Chilembwe Day today. Government set aside the January 15th to remember Reverend John Chilembwe, who tirelessly fought against social injustices on Africans perpetrated by colonialists. Minister of Finance and Economic Planning Joseph Mwanamveka is set to lead Malawians in commemorating the day in Chiladzulu district. Mwanamveka, who is also chairperson of Friends of John Chilembwe, has been delegated by President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika. Charles Chindongo and Chris Mainjeni have filed this report, being read by Ruth Chinangwa.
A visit by MBC to the site at Providence Industrial Mission found people painting memorial pillars, slashing glass and positioning mobile toilets to ensure smooth operations ahead of the event on January 15th. In an interview, a representative of PIM, David Kambewa, said they expect people to celebrate Reverend John Chilembwe as someone who fought against social injustices and promoted self-reliance as outlined in the Malawi 2063.
Malawi should take a lot of lesson from Chilembwe, surprising that they should be courageous in whatever they are doing. They should stand to against social injustice, and again it also gives us an opportunity that as Malawi there's that provision that we can have contact and dialogue whenever there are disagreements. So as you can see, Chilembwe's vision is in line with Malawi 2063 in a sense that Chilembwe was encouraging issues of hard work, issues of self-reliance and sufficiency. All these things you can get them in Malawi Vision 2063.
Kambewa has further urged political party leaders to advise their followers against wearing party colors as the national event remains apolitical.
My plea to the political parties and to political party leaders is to advise their political party followers that they should not put on party colors on this day, as it is a national event. So we should come as one entity, so that you can preach unity, you can preach love, just as Chilembwe wanted us to be united.
The event in Chiladzulu is expected to be attended by a cross-section of people, including political and faith leaders. 111 years have passed since Reverend John Chilembwe was killed after leading the 1915 uprising.
President Arthur Peter Mutharika relocated selected statutory corporations and state-owned enterprises from Lilongwe back to Blantyre and Zomba cities. Good governance experts backed the decision, saying it will help in reviving the economy. Charles Chindongo has more in this report, being read by Beatrice Juma.
3 months ago, President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika ordered the relocation of Malawi Communications Regulatory Authority, MACRA, the Malawi Housing Corporation, MHC, the Malawi Electoral Commission, MEC, and the Malawi Prison Service, MPS, back to Blantyre and Zomba respectively. MBC established that most of them have complied with the executive order. For instance, authorities at MPS confirmed the development, adding that they are expecting to complete the process soon. Thomas Damba is the Deputy Commissioner of Prisons in the country.
To us, we are happy because the headquarters was supposed to be near or closer to the maximum prison or Zomba Central Prison.
Limbani Sapato is Macra's head of corporate communication and had this to say.
Yes, we are finally in Blantyre. We fully relocated on the 12th of December 2025. So we are now almost a month in Blantyre. Yes, it's good to be here. You may recall that in Lilongwe we're spread in 5 different locations, and in terms of office operations, team cohesion, it was a challenge. But these new offices are able to accommodate all of us in one place, and it's great. It's good for teamwork. It's also good for efficiency in operations.
Weighing on the matter, good governance expert Wanda Funkuche praised President Professor Mutharika for moving in quickly to relocate selected government institutions and state-owned enterprises.
For some of the government offices moving back to Blantyre, it is a good decision by the government because this is what was promised during the campaign period. Some people in Blantyre were complaining that Blantyre has been robbed of some of the offices, and it has contributed to even how the economy of the city was working. So, knowing that the decision has finally been taken by the president, this is what the people wanted when they voted for him. So we can conclude to say it is a good decision based on those factors.
According to Nkuche, the move will help to revise the economy in other regions of the country. Social commentator Emmanuel Manyongo believes the decision is timely and cost-effective, as some of the companies and organizations were operating in rented premises.
When these institutions were being moved to Lilongwe, government incurred significant and unnecessary expenditure on office rentals, utilities, and logistical costs. And this was happening despite the fact that these same institutions already have purpose-built office infrastructure in Blantyre and Zomba. For instance, Makra alone was renting more than 5 office spaces in Lilongwe. Yet Makra already has more than 2 functional office spaces in Blantyre. By relocating them back, government is cutting recurrent costs, improving value for money, and redirecting scarce public resources to essential services that will benefit Malawian citizens.
In his tenure, Malawi's 6th President, Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, moved Malawi Communications Regulatory Authority, MACRA, the Malawi Housing Corporation, MHC, the Malawi Electoral Commission, MEC, and the Malawi Prison Service, MPS, to the capital, Lilongwe. President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika believed that moving all ministries, departments, and agencies, head offices to Lilongwe was an economic sanction against the southern region.
And that was Tausen Magombo reading a report compiled by Charles Chindongo. You're watching MBC News and you are with me, Abale Jingambe. A reminder of our top stories. The Ministry of Finance optimistic of a more responsive 2026-2027 national budget following nationwide pre-budget consultation meetings. Malawi celebrates John Chilembwe Day today. And in sports, FDH Bank takes over sponsorship of the country's elite football league, the Super League. Welcome back. Government will launch the 2025-2026 National Forestry Season at Mbata Primary School in Palombe District tomorrow. Minister of Natural Resources Alfred Gangata made the announcement in Lilongwe during a media briefing on the National Forestry Season. More in this report by Madalitso Mhango.
According to Gangada, this year's National Forestry Season aims to plant 41 million tree seedlings on degraded land and in forest areas. He further expressed the concern over the rising levels of deforestation, saying the trend is exacerbating environmental challenges, including flooding and the destruction of infrastructure. Gangata called on development partners, civil society organizations, the private sector, and other relevant stakeholders to ensure that trees are properly managed beyond the planting stage.
The National Forest Season running from December 1525 to April 1526 aims to promote trees planting, forest conservation, and sustainable forest management practice across Malawi. We target to plant 41 million trees, seedlings on degraded land and forests, and manage 4,000 hectares of natural regenerated nationwide. The seasons will be launched at Impata Primary School in Palombe District by the Right Honorable Enoch Kanzinga Chihana, the second Vice President of the Republic of Malawi.
This year's National Forestry Season will be held under the theme Trees and Forest for Community Resilience. Madalitso Muhango, MBC News, Lilongwe.
Minister of Agriculture, Irrigation and Water Development, Rosa Mbelizi, has commended the high uptake of farm input packages under the response to emergency disasters. The initiative is a component of the second phase of the Sustainable Agriculture Production Program, SAP. Over 18,000 of the 22,000 farmers who are expected to benefit from the program in Balaka and Lilongwe have redeemed their farm input packages. This was revealed when the minister visited beneficiaries of the initiative in the area of Traditional Authority Kalumbo in Lilongwe. Olive Perry has more.
Under the response to emergency and disasters rate component, each beneficiary household is entitled to receive input packages containing basil and top dressing bags of fertilizer and a 5 kg packet of maize seed. Speaking during the visit, Minister of Agriculture, Irrigation and Water Development, Rosa Mbelizi, expressed optimism that the response to emergency and disaster component will help to end hunger and make the country self-sufficient, as farmers are expected to harvest enough maize. Mbelizi, however, noted challenges such as officers overcharging for farm imports and warned that the ministry will take action against such officers.
It's very sad that such a wonderful initiative is being abused very much by our own people in terms of the people that are supposed to assist the farmers to redeem their fertilizer at 10,000 kwacha. I've received complaints about maybe people telling the beneficiaries to add more money than the 10,000 they are supposed to pay. That is also what is worrying me as a minister and the ministry at large, but we are dealing with that very decisively.
National Coordinator of the Sustainable Agriculture Production Program, Rex Balua, says so far they have achieved a 100% redemption rate for farmers in Balaka, with only a few farmers remaining to redeem the farm input packages in Lilongwe.
For Lilongwe, I'm also happy that the program is progressing very well, because out of the 17,950 beneficiaries, as of today, I'm told around 80% of the beneficiaries have so far benefited from the program. And I'm very positive that by the end of this month, all the intended beneficiaries would have accessed all the necessary inputs that we are providing under this lead component.
The response to emergency and disasters rate component under the second phase of the Sustainable Agriculture Production Program was implemented with funding of $3 million from the International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD, to support vulnerable households in Balaka and Lilongwe. Farmers redeem a bag of fertilizer at the government seed price of 10,000 kwacha, or the seed is for free. Olive Piri, MBC News, Lilongwe.
The Minister of Information and Communications Technology, Shadrack Namalomba, has congratulated the newly appointed board members of the Malawi Broadcasting Corporation, MBC, urging them to make sure they restore the image of the media house. Namalomba said this during an interactive meeting with the board on Tuesday in Lilongwe.
The prosecutors in this sector have never had an easy ride. They've had a lot of challenges, and particularly in terms of service delivery being poor, some overburdened by debt which they are failing to retire, taxes and pensions and liabilities and so forth, but also issues to do with discipline in the quality of services that we are delivering. So I took this opportunity to challenge them that they are there to serve the nation. They are there to serve the His Excellency Professor They are there to be ambassadors, to serve in the public interest, not in their individual capacities. And again, I reiterated the call that His Excellency Professor made, that this is no time to general, the time to work, and we must all work. And that the government of His Excellency Professor will not tolerate corruption, will not tolerate abuse of office, will not tolerate any lawlessness.
Namalomba notes that embassy does not work to serve a certain party or individual, and that embassy should rather serve the interests of all Malawians while thriving to fulfill the Malawi 2063 development aspirations. Embassy Board Chairperson Dr. Benson Tembo assured the minister that the corporation will be professional to deliver its mandate. The Lilongwe City Council has failed to collect an estimated 15 billion kwacha in unpaid city rates and other revenues, and the Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Ben Perry, has called councils to step up efforts in revenue collection. Austin Fogola reports.
During an engagement with both senior and junior staff at the Lilongwe City Council, Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Ben Perry, challenged the council to intensify efforts to keep the city clean and construct befitting sanitation facilities. Perry told the officials that the uncollected 15 billion kwacha revenue represent resources the city urgently needs, saying the council is sleeping on money while service delivery continues to suffer. He therefore urged the council to put in place effective and innovative strategies to improve revenue collection.
Lilongwe City Council is sitting on billions uncollected from city rates and other revenues. As you're well aware that councils are supposed to be generating their own revenues, and they are sitting on resources. Therefore, the caveat or the curtain of lack of resources is not acceptable. They must improve at all costs, and we have agreed on a roadmap on how best Lilongwe can look and how people can enjoy service delivery.
In a response, Lilongwe City Council Chief Executive Officer MacLeod Kadamanja acknowledged the challenges and said the council is working on innovative solutions aimed at enhancing revenue collection and improve service delivery.
Lilongwe City Council, we have a revenue enhancement strategic plan, and we follow that strategic plan. That's why we were able to articulate the various measures that we've put in place to make sure that we improve in revenue. You have seen yourself for the trend, especially this financial year, that we are performing quite well as according to plan, and we will continue making sure that we come up with innovative ideas of mobilizing resources.
Meanwhile, the minister has also warned City Council employees against what he described as a laissez-faire attitude at work. He cited reports of some employees reporting for duty late and spending working hours on social media, urging staff to demonstrate professionalism and commitment to public service. Austin Fukula, MBC News, Lilongwe.
And now in sports, the Malawi national women's football team will know their opponents for the Women's Africa Cup of Nations, WAFCON Morocco 2026 at a draw scheduled for today in Morocco. This will be the team's first ever appearance in the tournament. Scorchers head coach Love Mofaziri and team captain Tabitha Chawinga will represent Malawi at the WAFCON group stage draw. The Continental Showbiz will be held from March 17 to 3rd April in Morocco. Still in sports, FDH Bank has taken over sponsorship of the country's elite football league after signing a 5-year deal with the Super League of Malawi, Sulum. Starting this year, the Super League will be known as the FDH Bank Premiership. The agreement is worth 5 billion kwacha and is the biggest football sponsorship in the country. Norbert Jameson has the details.
The bank will invest 1 billion kwacha every year, taking over from mobile phone operator TNM, who have bankrolled the league for the past 18 years. Witnessing the contract unveiling ceremony in Blantyre on Wednesday evening was Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture Patricia Wiskes, who held the bank for the landmark commitment.
To date, this is the single biggest support that we are getting from the private sector, so we really thank FDH for a landmark commitment such as this. We are hoping that this support will actually improve sport in Malawi. It will change the face of the Super League in Malawi. It will change the professionalism of our clubs, the welfare of our athletes, and the entire football in Malawi. So we are very, very thankful for the support from FDH.
FDH Bank Managing Director Noah Nkulichi then shared the motivation behind the move.
For sure, we had to look at how sponsorships are done elsewhere, and we wanted to be different. In so doing, that's why we had to come up not only in terms of the figures, but at the same time, we had to look also at the welfare of the players, and the issue that usually affect players when something happens to them. We thought we also need to cover them in terms of life cover. This is the first of its kind in Malawi, and we are proud to be, the first ones to introduce that.
And this was the reaction from a delighted Sulum president, Gilbert Mitawa.
This is a historic moment, the first of its kind. We never dreamt that we'll reach a stage where the league would be sponsored at 1 billion Malawi kwacha per season, and with an automatic escalation clause of 25% at the end of each season. Therefore, allow me to sincerely thank FDH Bank PLC for this great investment, and I want to assure them that will give them the value for their investment.
The 1 billion kwacha annual package entails that Super League champions will pocket 200 million kwacha, while runners-up will get 100 million kwacha. The third-placed team will receive 75 million kwacha. The bank will also set aside a player welfare revolving fund pegged at 100 million kwacha and a player life cover fund. Norbert Jameson, MPC Sports.
That's all we had for you this morning. A reminder of our top stories before we leave. The Ministry of Finance optimistic of a more responsive 2026-2027 national budget following nationwide pre-budget consultation meetings. Malawi celebrates John Chilembwe Day today. And in sports, FDH Bank takes over sponsorship of the country's elite football league, the Super League. Keep up to date with our news coverage on our digital pages by scanning the QR code at the top right corner of your TV screen. You were with me, Abale Chingambe, and from the entire team, thanks for watching. Bye for now.
January is a special day in Malawi's history. We remember and honor a man who led and defended the freedom of this country, a man who took his